All right, welcome back. This is the problem with free stuffs. You never have quality from them. So we continue with the market. Are we all on board?
I am in.
Okay, great. So we have market demand.
I don't know if you are more.
Yeah, we have two on board as well. Market demand and versus individual demand. I was trying to explain this, then 40 minutes per session that was allocated, finished. So
Yeah,
we continue from
it's
what,
kind of,
yeah, that's what happens.
so it's kind of, yeah,
Something is free, quality is not always there. So we have seen Lamin's demand schedule, where we have price, one, and we have 2, 3, then 4. So the quantity demanded by Lamin, quantity demanded of books, let's say these are books, was 8. This is 8, please. This is 6, this is 4, and then 2. So then we have Fatus demand for books at the same price, but quantity demanded might change. So we have price and quantity of books demanded by Fatu. So at price 1, then we have price 2, 3, then 4. So we can have this as maybe 9. We have this 6, 3, then 1. So these are individual. What you are seeing here, they are individual demand curve. We call this individual ID rather. And Lamin's demand curve is also individual. It's only when you add these two, then it will give you market demand curve. Then we have price. 1, at 2, at 3, and then at 4. So the prices that we will have, quantity demanded of book. So this is for the market demand. So this is what market demand schedule. So here what we will do, we add this 8 plus 9, which will give us 17. So 8 plus 9, this 8. So we add this and this, it will give us 17. So we add 6 plus 6, that will give us 12. We add 4 and 3, that will give us 7. So at price of 4, Lamin's demand 2, while Fado demand 1. So we add this and this, that will give us 3. So this is how you get the market demand. So market demand schedule. So this is market demand schedule. So from here, it's possible to draw the graph for Lamin, individual Lamin. It's possible to do for Fatus. So when you add them also, you will have the market demand. So to draw market demand curve, this is Lamin's demand curve, this is Fatus demand curve. If you add them, then it will give you market demand curve. So it's what will be at the price of one.
Market demand versus individual demand.
Exactly. So here, what I'm trying to put across, that's why they said market demand is nothing but what? The sum of individual demand curve. You understand? Sorry, the sum of individual demand. So you add this, you'll have this. So you have the market demand schedule, and at here you have the market demand curve. So this is what you sum up, you have this. This is what you will sum up and have this. So you have to use this to get the form. You use this to have this. You use this. So this is what we mean by market demand versus individual demand. So from there, what we also should know is about shift in demand. Remember, we have demand curve like this. So we can have price 4 here, then the quantity demanded could be 2. But if price decreases, let's say to 2, then quantity demanded could increase up to maybe 6. So we move from where A to B. So this movement, we call it what? Movement along. This terminology is important. Movement along the demand curve. So this movement along the demand curve is caused by what? Who can chip in? This is quantity demanded. It's caused by what? Price. Remember, it's caused by price because the price decreased from what? 4 to 2. And because of that, quantity demanded increases from 2 to 6. So when we talk about movement along the demand curve, it's solely caused by what? Price. It's only caused by change in price. So change in price causes movement along the demand curve. And when we talk about movement along the demand curve, it could be from A to B or even B to A. So we are moving on the same demand curve. So this concept is important for you to understand because what we will be looking at, it will be what? Shift in demand. So this is what movement along the demand curve. We understand it, that is to move from the same demand curve, but you move from one point to another. It could be from A to B or B to A. And that is caused, our movement from A to B or B to A is solely caused by what? Price. So the quantity demanded, remember, of a product can change. We can also move from 2 to 6 caused by other factors other than price. So these are what we will be looking at, and we call it shift in demand curve. So next is what? Shift. So remember, we said that movement along the demand curve is caused solely by change in price. But shift in demand curve, when we talk about shift in demand curve, we are talking about shift. So this shift, in some textbooks, you will see change. It's the same thing as change. Change in demand curve. So what do we mean by shift in demand curve? So when we talk about shift in demand curve, we are trying to talk about when a demand curve shifts to what? To the left, or change to the left, shift to the left, or change or shift to the right. So let's say that the original demand curve was like this, the original one. Here we have price, the P, and here we have quantity demanded. So we have it like here. Let's say the price is 4. This was the original one. So let's assume that it shifts to the, first let's look at here, it shifts to the right. First, this is our original position. Let's say that this here, so let's call even this one, let's call this one D0. The curve, let's name it as D0. So let's say that something happened and it shifts the demand to the left. So what the demand curve will look like this. Remember, we are using this as a reference point. So here, what we will have, originally we have something like this. And the price was what? 4. And we said that demand curve shift to the left. So what we mean, and let's say that the quantity demanded here originally was 2. So still, but demand shift to the left. What it means, remember, this is our D0, the original demand curve. This is our price. This is our quantity demanded. So a shift of demand curve, especially to the left, what it means that you go, this was the original one, D0. So we will have something like this. It shift here. So, but the price remains constant. We are still at price 4. So demand shift, we have a new demand curve. It just means that you have a new demand curve and it shifts to the left. So we will have, this was 4 here. So we have a new quantity, which we can say is 2. But remember, the price doesn't change. It's only the demand curve that shifts. So the change in quantity, demand decreases, but price remains constant. So we have a new demand curve, which we can call D1. So demand curve, it shifts to the left, and shift of demand curve to the left, some people call it what? Decrease in demand. So we see that demand, it decreased from 4 to 2. No. We have this, the original one was 2, as here. So let's say that there is 1. So it decreases from 2 to 1. Remember, the price is not responsible for this. So that's why we say it's shift to the left. You will see that there are some factors that are causing this. We will just see them in few seconds. So when the demand shifts to the right, we can also call it as what? Increase in demand.
When the demand shift to the right, increase in demand, but when the demand shift to the left, is decrease.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we have this. Let's draw our original demand curve, which was this. The price was 4 and the quantity demanded was 2. So we have our price on the vertical axis and our quantity demanded on the horizontal axis. Let's say for some reason, something happened and the demand shift to the right, like this. So remember, this curve is our original demand curve, D0, like here. So here the demand shift. So what happened, it will extend here. So our quantity, new quantity demanded will be 3. This is 3. So we have it here. So let's even say that this point was A. So we have it here as A. So the new one now is B. So we move from A to B, and here it decreases. That's why we call decrease in demand. So here we have A, then we move to B. So demand, it increases. But remember, price is still constant. So we cannot say price is responsible for this. So a shift in demand is not caused by price. It's caused by other factors that affect quantity demanded. But movement like this along the demand curve is caused by price. These two concepts need to be understood. So here we have these two things. So this one is what? Is shift to the left. This one is shift to the right. Shift to the right is what? Increasing demand. But these are not caused by price. Yeah. So if they are not caused by price, then what are the cause of these shifts to the right and left? What could be the causes? What could be?
You said it.
The increase of price.
Sorry? The causes could be this. We will look at them in details in our next class. First is maybe your income change. Sometimes when you know that when you increase your salary, let's say we are all workers, you have a promotion. If you have been buying bread and butter, you will change it. You will elevate your morning breakfast. We have seen that. Good example is in offices. When someone is promoted,
Yeah.
change in their breakfast or in their lunch. Price doesn't change. The price of the lunch, you understand, didn't change, but because your income changed, then your demand for certain good, maybe you are buying half bread, then they promote you. You have more income now. You are buying full bread. So this could be another cause. Price of the bread didn't change, but your income changed, and because of that, maybe your demand increases here. But for here, maybe price didn't change, but because they demote you, your income changed. Before you are buying full bread, now you are buying half bread. That's why the demand falls at this side of the shift. So income could be one cause. There are other causes, like let's say, but we will look at the income and other things in details in our next class. Price of related goods. Maybe because, remember, we are talking about demand for notebook. Maybe you don't like writing any more, but you can use your notepad to write, and the price of that change. That's why you reduce your demand for notebook. So those could be something, but we will look at all these in details in our next class. So price of related goods, like whether the good is a complement. But remember also that this applies to what we will look at normal goods, whether the good is normal or inferior. The most important thing for this today is to understand that the possible causes can be income, price of related goods. So when we talk about price of related goods, like for example, meat and fish, when the price of one changes, it affects the demand of the other. That's what we mean by price of related goods. So then we have test. Maybe your test change. It's a possibility.
Yeah, or choice.
Choice.
Maybe
exactly.
the choice can come to taste.
Exactly. Then also we could be expectation. Maybe you expect that you will be promoted next week. Now you are just spending anyhow you like your money. So then we have 5, number of buyers. Maybe the number of buyers of that can change. It can increase. So these are possible reasons that can cause a shift in demand curve. So when we say shift, we should know that it's the same as change, and that change could be either increase or decrease in demand. So you look at this, they are caused by these things. Price, it's constant. So most often, even in grade 12, students fall a victim of the difference between movement along the demand curve and shift in demand curve. So when we say movement along the demand curve, it's solely caused by what? Price.
Price, yeah.
But when we say shift in demand curve, it's solely caused by these factors. So we will stop here for this class. We're supposed to finish 7:30. So we have like 13 more minutes. So we can stop here until next Friday. I will give me some time. I will share the materials with you on WhatsApp, so you can read it. It's the same thing as what I have explained here. You can read them in details. All right. If you don't have any question, comment, contribution, we can stop here until next Friday.
Yeah, Mr. Ture, thank you for the class. It's interested in this.
All right.
So we just go over everything. We just go over everything till next week, inshallah.
No problem. Then have a nice weekend.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
All right. Hello? Start asking.